Heading into this final frame, I've said it a bunch of times tonight, this game is still in reach, and the million-dollar question is why did it take 2.5 quarters for Trent Monkman to make an appearance for Victoria?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, midway through that quarter, it was 51-33 Manitoba. He comes in the game, and Victoria goes on a 14-4 run, and he was a huge part of that run. 7 points, 3 for 5, draws a charge there, 2 rebounds for him as well, 1 assist. Has a season-high 8 points a few weeks back against Trinity Western.
Brown with a huge shot there to open up the fourth quarter for the Bison. Sorry to interrupt, Doug.
No, that's
massive shot there by Brown. His team is still in control, however, Victoria's still hanging around.
Well, but this is be a key couple minutes because Victoria has let Manitoba push at the start of almost every quarter, and Victoria cannot afford that here in the fourth. But Monkman now with a season high for himself, 9 points.
3-point attempt here by Aruda is good, so Manitoba coming out to start this fourth quarter shooting the 3 ball very, very well. Manitoba doesn't have an answer for Trent Monkman, but Victoria doesn't have an answer for the Bison's 3-point shooting, and that's going to be tipped in. Really good heads-up play there by Carlos Costa. Used the left hand to lay it in, comes all the way from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And that lead is back to 10 for the Bisons. Brown, guarded by Costa. Misses that shot. Rebound's going to be gobbled up by Victoria. And here comes Scully. Scully with help. Slows it up, curls. Fires over to Mafia. Mafia loves to shoot the 3-point ball. We'll see if he'll attempt that. O'Hara switches on, and that's going to be just a bit off there by Mafia, and that rebound's going to go right to Monkman. 5 to go in the shot clock. Monkman rises, fires, tried to use the glass, misses. Right into the hands of Rashawn Brown. 8:16 to go, 10-point lead for the Bisons. And they're going to call Dominic Oliveri on the foul.
He doesn't like it either, but he grabs the arm with his left hand. Grabs the arm as he steps through.
And some substitutions here for Victoria's. We'll take a look.
Probably won't see it quite there, but it's that left arm initially on Wagner that sort of gives him the leverage to step around.
Brown inbounds it. Wagner does a 360 in the paint, misses. Miller Jose comes flying in to get that rebound, ends up in the hands of Ellis. Here come the Vikes, still standing with 10, down by 10 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth. Ellis being worked over by Miller Jose. Ellis, nice move there, can't quite finish, but gets his own rebound, takes a look at the clock and has that stolen by Brown.
Great hands by Brown.
Really quick steal there as Ziwa was inches away from having that blocked, and Brown, easy 2 points for him. He's got a game-high 21 points.
Well, the Vikes get back in transition defensively and do a good job to force a tough look by Ziwa, but everyone forgets about Brown coming in from behind, who just tips it home.
Scully in traffic. Kellum for 3. Too much on that, right in the hands of Brown. There's Rashawn Brown with 4 rebounds tonight.
Vikes just 3 for 15 from now 3 for 16 from the 3-point line.
Brown fakes it, takes a step into Wagner, and Wagner at times has shown an offensive flair. He goes in there untouched. He's got 13 points, and his team is back up by 14.
Yeah, right near his season average of 16. And Wagner's been important here today for Manitoba, as you expected he would be, taking a little bit of the pressure off of Brown, and Ziwa for that matter.
Ellis is able to lay that in untouched. His team's still down by 12. Of course, the winner of this game will advance to the semifinal played tomorrow afternoon. You can catch that on Canada West TV. Presented by Co-op. Aruda to Brown. Brown calls for a pick. Being guarded by 2 Vikes. Miller Jose puts his head down, misses that layup, gets his own rebound. But it will be, a foul is going to be called here.
It's going to go on Ellis. That'll be his second. These teams last met in the playoffs back in 2013 as UVIC swept Manitoba 2-0 in the Canada West quarterfinal. Vikes went on to lose to the UBC Thunderbirds in the Canada West final that year. So not a lot of playoff history between these two teams. We'll see a little bit of a different story in our next matchup as the Golden Bears and the Pronghorns just seem to play every February, almost like clockwork. This will be the 4th year in a row.
Nice play there by the Vikes as they couldn't quite finish. Kicked out back to Kellerman. Of course, that was back in the series days. Now it's just one and done, and I think there's pros and cons to this turnover there by Victoria. There's and turnover there again by Manitoba. 3-point shot attempt here by Mafia. Can't miss it. However, Monkman flies to keep that in bounds, and he does. Mafia again for 3, misses that one. Lejeune gobbles up that rebound. Monkman, baseline, is fouled. Miller Jose is going to be called for the foul. And yeah, Doug, just back to my point, I think there's pros and cons to a series as well as one and done. I think the one and done can lead to some upsets. If you have a bad quarter, who knows what happens. But the series, you really get a chance to know your opponent, and we'll talk more about it in our next game. But Alberta and Lethbridge know each other pretty well over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit of that. We've seen a little bit of that, too, with the Final Four format that Canada West used. Technical foul called on Wagner for Manitoba. But we've seen that with the Canada West Final Four version where it was one and done, semis and final. Then they went just to the final, being that got out of the Final Four. Now everything is just one and done. So we'll see how it plays out. Canada West, every couple of years, it changes. So if you don't like the playoff format, just be patient. It might switch up again.
O'Hara with 5:13 to go, hands it off to Brown. Brown in traffic. Soft pass out in the corner for 3, and that shot is buried by Risto Zimbakov.
For Zimbakov, his first bucket of the game. No, it's my mistake. His first 3 of the game. 5 points now, but Brown was right at the rim. Left hand, I thought he was going to go up with it. Finds Zimbakov in the corner. Sean Brown, 9 assists now.
As Lejeune is fouled by O'Hara. That is O'Hara's second foul of the game, so Hayden Lejeune to the line.
That's a good, smart veteran play by the 5th-year Hayden Lejeune. Knew he didn't have a whole lot with O'Hara right on him, but goes right into the arms. Basically, you force the call to be made. You're not even worried at that point about trying to put the ball to the rim. You're just trying to create some contact, and Lejeune, you'll see it here. O'Hara hands out and just goes right into the arms. Good, smart play. Lejeune goes 1 for 2 at the line. The only 5th-year player for Victoria, native of Chilliwack. Had a double-double last week against Brandon, 18 points, 11 boards.
Brown, what a pass. Just hands it off to Cameron O'Hara. And Rashawn Brown is doing it at both ends of the floor tonight for Manitoba. Monkman to Lejeune. Lejeune takes a long 2-point attempt and hits it. So Victoria still hanging around 70-56. Manitoba in control. However, still a lot of basketball to be played. Aruda. Zimbakov. To O'Hara, who just gives it right back to Aruda. 7 to go on the shot clock. Brown. Right into traffic. Fires it over to Aruda for 3. And Aruda, Andre Aruda. Big 3-point shot there, 73-56. Wow, and that could be it for Victoria.
And it might be 3-point shooting that propels as Mafia finally hits one. I think he's unofficially 1 for 9 now. But Manitoba, neither team had shot the ball well from 3 early, and Manitoba's gotten hot here in this 4th quarter.
Wagner with 3.5 minutes to go in this game.
Connor Hood is correcting, 1 of 11 now, Mafia, from the 3-point line.
That's going to go off the foot of Oliveri. So Manitoba to inbound. With 3:19 to go in the 4th quarter, the winner will take on the winner of our next game tomorrow in the Canada West semifinals. Of course, Calgary taking on UBC. Is that later tonight?
It is tonight, yes. Down in Calgary, the Jack Simpson. Of course, they had a busy basketball weekend with the women Dinos hosting. Of course, the Pandas come out of that group.
Wagner, tough shot. So I see Scott Edwards in attendance here. He has returned. And 3 minutes to go. Victoria down 75-59. And what a dive there by Ziwa. Really harassing Victoria. They're having a hard time getting set up here. Scully, baseline. too much on that. Lejeune collects that rebound as Hayden Lejeune's got 8 points. 13 points, excuse me. As Manitoba is not taking their foot off the gas at all as we reach the final 3 minutes of this quarter. As Rashawn Brown is checked out, is coming back into the game as Aruda. Nice no-look pass to Zimbakov, and even better pass to O'Hara. So
like
one extra pass there for Manitoba, and Victoria just doesn't have an answer.
And like we've seen a lot, Victoria's been caught ball watching a fair amount here tonight. There's an example of that high post. Cutter comes off the wing, the first pass, and then that forces your help to slide over, leaves the opposite post wide open. We've seen that a handful of times. That wing cut has been a problem for Victoria in stretches here tonight. They're just caught a little bit too high above the free throw line.
Ziwa with 2 minutes to go. His team up by 16. Wagner for 3. I don't know if that was, we see in hockey the slap pass or whatever, ended up right in the hands of his teammates. And with 1:53 to go, Manitoba leads 79-61. They are 1:53 away from advancing to the Canada West semifinals and continuing one of their best seasons in years.
Yeah, I mean, for Manitoba, a team right now, right near their season average. They average 85 points a game, and they're coming right close to that here again. And it's been, in this fourth quarter, three-point shooting that's opened up this gap. And the breakdowns that we've seen from Victoria throughout this game, at the rim defensively, unable to finish in tight because Manitoba's been so good at the rim defensively here. It's been a very impressive, I won't say consistent performance by Manitoba, as Victoria has shown big flashes at times, and every time Manitoba's been threatened, they've pushed back. Of course, we should acknowledge 2 of the Canada West All-Stars in this game. You see number 2 with his back to the camera there, Matt Ellis, the Canada West third-team All-Star this season. Former Calgary Dino is Matt Ellis. 4th in the conference in field goal percentage, 59.9. That was good for 7th in the country. Also 4th in Canada West in blocks, 1.2 a game. And then a Canada West first-team All-Star in this game, that would be Rashawn Brown. Of course, last year was a third-team All-Star. This year, a first-teamer. There you get a look at him. And amongst his teammates, we're number 4. Talked earlier, 3rd in the conference in scoring, 6th in Canada in assists. And he's got a double-double here tonight with assists and points. So a pretty solid night for Rashawn Brown, whose season looks to continue. 5th-year player from Toronto.
One extra night in Edmonton for the Bisons, barring a miracle. Of course, after the first quarter, they were up by 18, and they've restored that 18-point lead. As Victoria. Good season, though, for the Vikes. Finished 15-5, had their first playoff victory since 2015. Good defense there by the Bisons. And they just ran into a bit of a buzzsaw today in Manitoba, but really good effort. I think there are some signs for this Victoria team. Again, 15-5, that's a good regular season, and there are some pieces of this team that are going to be major pieces moving forward.
Yeah, huge improvement. Last year they were 10-10, 10th overall, lost in the play-in game, didn't even get to this stage as they fell to Lethbridge a year ago. So huge strides. They lose Hayden Lejeune. Of course, that'll be a tough loss for them, but for Victoria, I mean, this is a program with such history. I mean, we talk about Carleton now. The team before Carleton, it was Victoria. 8 championships in a row with Ken Shields as their head coach back in the 80s. They were absolutely dominant for years. I mean, they've won 16 Canada West titles. And their last national championship back in 1997.
Nice pass there to O'Hara, and he flushes it down with authority. He puts an exclamation mark on this game. Bisons lead by 20. And it looks like that should do it. So Manitoba, nice play there by Kellum as O'Hara gets that rebound. Manitoba to play the winner of Alberta versus Lethbridge. Of course, that game scheduled to tip off just after 2 o'clock. And we have a backcourt violation here.
He did step, just as he leaned back to push off, stepped on the half-court line. We said off the top, these teams played each other not long ago. An 8-point win for the Vikes on January 31st, and then an equal 8-point victory for Manitoba the next night.
As O'Hara and Ziwa collide in midair, and 3-point by Mafia doesn't fall. And 44 seconds to go. Ziwa going to bring it up the floor. And they're likely just going to run out as much time as they possibly can here, as they're comfortably in the lead by 20.
So for Manitoba, moving into this Canada West semifinal, they will take the shot clock violation. They will continue the trend of the top four teams. The top four teams on the women's side got through the quarterfinals into the semis, and so far that's been the case. So Manitoba, UBC, Calgary into the Canada West semis.
One more spot to go, and we'll determine that in about half an hour time as Lugin misses that three-point attempt, and it is over. Manitoba with an 81-61 victory over Victoria. Victoria's season has come to an end, and Manitoba lives to fight another day. They'll play tomorrow afternoon, the winner of Alberta and Lethbridge. And you know, Doug, hindsight's always 20/20, but you have to wonder how long Victoria's going to think about that first quarter and how they didn't do themselves really any favors, digging themselves such a big hole so early.
Yeah, I mean, being down 26-8 at the end of the first quarter, it's just such a tough hill to climb. And again, Victoria, a good offensive team, not a great offensive team. And when you dig yourself a hole like that, it's just so difficult to get back. And every time they made a push, and they made a few really big pushes, Manitoba had an answer, and largely it was through Rashawn Brown here today.
Yep.
You saw the likes of Wagner. Of course, Ziwa had an outstanding day. So, hey, full credit to Manitoba. They came out all guns blazing, and Victoria just could not slow them down early enough to give themselves a real true shot here this afternoon.
We'll take a quick timeout, and then we'll hear from our player of the game, Rashawn Brown. You're watching CanadaWest.tv, presented by Co-op.
Co-op Community Spaces is creating places for everyone. We're funding community projects up to $150,000. Apply online before March 2nd. For more details, visit communityspaces.ca.
Let's throw it down on the floor to our sideline reporter, Josh Shui. He's joined by player of the game, Rashawn Brown, 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 12 assists. Josh?
Like you were going right away, just seemed on fire from the get-go. What was the key for you tonight?
Man, it had nothing to do with me. Did you see Ziwa out there? He was amazing. Cam was amazing. Finished everything around the rim. James was amazing too. They all did a really good job out there. Made it easier on me, right?
You guys just got off to a quick start as well, especially putting the Vikes in a big hole early. What was the key to that and keeping them there as the game went on?
I think for us, our biggest thing is that we have ups and downs, right? So for us, it's just minimizing the times of our downs, because that's going to happen, right?
I know that at the start of the fourth quarter, you guys really started to get it going in terms of your three-point shooting. So what was the key to shooting the ball better as the game went on?
Touch the paint first. When you touch the paint first, they got to close out from a further distance, and it gives us more time to get one off. Makes it that much easier.
Just a couple more for you, Rashawn. You were named a first-team Canada West All-Star this week. What does that honor mean to you?
Again, it's just more of a tribute to my teammates, man. They do so well. James has been great. Ziwa's been great. Them having those career nights like on a consistent basis makes it so that there's not as much pressure on me, and my job gets that much easier.
You're playing the winner of this next game here, Alberta or Lethbridge. So what are you expecting from either one of those teams?
Man, two great teams that really play hard, man. We're just going to come out and give it our all.
Perfect. And last one for you is, what do you guys want to improve on heading into the game tomorrow?
Just like I said before, man, just minimizing that time where we're down. Keep it up as high as we can.
All right, well, Rashawn Brown, a huge game, a double-double for him, and the Manitoba Bisons are headed to the Canada West semifinal versus the winner of Alberta and Lethbridge. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Josh. Thank you to Rashawn. He will be in action tomorrow afternoon against the winner of our next game. But Doug, let's do a quick wrap-up on this one. Terrific first quarter for Manitoba. Not the greatest of first quarters for Victoria. And really, I think that was it.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I mean, that's the challenge. That's the interesting thing in this game when you have two good teams like this. I mean, you have one team that gets off to such a hot start, no matter how good the opposition is. It's a tough hill to climb. I mean, Manitoba shot 69% in the opening quarter, and they end up shooting, I'm just looking here, 52% for the game. They had a really good night shooting, and when you have that, Victoria, I just found for such a good defensive team, they really struggled to limit the guards of Manitoba, and that forced some challenges in the paint as well. They allowed the guards of Manitoba easy access to the paint. That forced all kinds of breakdowns in the rotations for Victoria, and they just never recovered.
We have one more game to come, and Doug, stop me if you've heard this one before. It's Alberta versus Lethbridge in the playoffs.
Maybe once or twice.
Thank you to everyone from the Victoria and Manitoba regions who tuned in to watch us today. We appreciate tuning into CanadaWest.tv. He's Doug McLean. I'm Mark Mageau. Still to come, the Alberta Golden Bears take on the Lethbridge Pronghorns. We'll be back in 10 minutes' time with the pregame show. Get you set for that one. Manitoba has stamped their ticket to the semifinals. They will play tomorrow. Opponent to be determined, but that's what we'll do in 10 minutes' time. Thank you for watching Canada West TV, everyone. We'll see you back in 10 minutes.
Full service at your local co-op means extra service at no extra cost. We'll fill your tank, clean your windshield, and get you on your way. And full service is part of why co-ops are able to provide good jobs to more than 25,000 Western Canadians. Whether it's rainy in Chilliwack, sunny in Regina, cold in Edmonton, or even colder in Winnipeg, full service. It's a co-op thing. Full service at your local co-op means extra service at no extra cost.